Back in New York with a new phone. Can't complain. Wow, we finally got our hands on the new iPhone 11. I mean, Pixel 4. Don't know why I said that. Yes, this is the new Pixel 4 XL. Google finally took the wraps off after months and months of leaks. We basically knew everything about the phone, or we thought we did anyways. Turns out a lot of it was true. So the big things, we have an extra camera on the back now. They added a telephoto camera. We got a 90 hertz display, and let me tell you, it's real smooth. Like my mustache. So the Google Pixel 4, this is the 4 XL. I don't have the Pixel 4 normal one, but it's about the same size as this one, and the bezels are about the same as well. So it's launching at the same price, so $799 for the Pixel 4, $899 for the Pixel XL, 5.7-inch screen on the Pixel 4, 6.3-inch on the Pixel 4 XL, Snapdragon 855 inside. I've already talked about that. Guys, we'll have more details about it coming soon, but for now, it's oh so orange. Last year, they didn't really talk about the specs up front, but this year I was talking to a guy and he's like, yeah, it's got a Snapdragon 855, 6 gigs of RAM. They upped the RAM this year. They were stuck with 4 for too long, so they upped it, not quite to the amount of like 8 gigs and 12 gigs that we saw with other flagship phones that we're seeing right now, but it's something. Thanks, Google. Now, obviously, one of the biggest changes with this Pixel 4 is that it now has what they're calling motion sense. So that's, I think, their term for all of the kind of like air gesture sort of stuff that's enabled by the Project Soli chip inside that's contained by this big sensor bar at the top. You might not like the fact that there's no notch. We're going back to forehead bezels, but I'm okay with that because there's a lot of technology stuffed in there. The motion sense is going to allow you to do stuff like face unlock, which is apparently always running, so it should be super fast when you pick up your phone. You shouldn't have to like wait for it to unlock. It should just be like boom, bam, boom. And that also enables stuff like the motion gestures we saw. It will also allow you to dismiss alarms and to dismiss calls. So they took the call protection thing a little further. Last year they had the screen call to protect yourself from telemarketers. Now you can just swipe it away. It's like, get out of there. Now the zoom lens that I mentioned earlier is roughly 2 times. They say that you will get a sharper zoom if you zoom in beforehand than if you take a photo and crop it. So for future reference. The one thing that I was disappointed not to see, that I really want to see, maybe they'll add it later, is the potential of Project Soli to kind of detect fine gestures. When they first showed Project Soli, like, last year or the year before, I forget when it was, they showed its potential to kind of like, turn volume up by like doing this with your fingers, or like turn virtual knobs, or like slide things up or down. So I would really like to see that come to this phone. I feel like the potential is there with the Project Soli sensors, but we'll have to see whether they add that. They didn't say anything about it, but they did show that picture of the guy twiddling his fingers. Google, add some finger twiddling. I want to use my phone like this. Okay? Now in terms of the camera, one of the features that leaked before this was the dual exposure controls. So you'll be able to take a photo and not only trust Google's computational photography, which they say is a lot better this year and is incorporating things like machine learning to inform the color of the photos. They say that like, we know that people's skin isn't supposed to be blue, so if you take a photo and it's super blue, we'll tune it based on the person's face color. That might sound weird. Night sight is also getting a huge upgrade. You'll be able to do, the astrophotography thing leaked beforehand, but they showed it and it actually is really impressive. I'm not sure whether like night sight is going to be the exact same strength on like previous Pixel phones and the Pixel 4, especially since they have the dual cameras on the back now, but we'll have to see. It looks more impressive. Now, one of the main things that Google kind of emphasized during this event was ambient technology. So they're really trying to make things like the Google Assistant and these camera features just kind of work without you really thinking too much about it. The new Google Assistant has more contextual abilities, so they talked about that at Google I/O last year, and now we're seeing it come to the phones. We haven't really played around with it a ton, but you should be able to do things like say an initial thing to Google and then just kind of keep talking as if you were talking to a real person, like there's a tiny little person inside. And isn't that the dream? Should mention real quick, the guy at the Pixel booth told me that, we got live caption on the Pixel 4 XL. Now, I thought that was coming to the Pixel 3 with Android 10, and he says it's a Pixel 4 feature. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's coming to Pixel 3. I assume that it's coming to Pixel 3s later, but maybe we'll see that finally launch with the Pixel 4 when it launches soon. Apparently, it's going to be shipping by October 22nd. So the other kind of big hardware announcement that they're announcing today is the Pixelbook Go. So a couple years ago, or 3 years ago, I forget, we had the Pixelbook, the original one. It's a laptop. And then last year we got the Pixel Slate, which was kind of, a flagship 2-in-1 tablet device with a keyboard attachment. Now they're going back to a regular clamshell laptop. So this is a Chromebook. It starts at $649. Last year the Pixel Slate started at $599. So they're getting a little more confident with this laptop idea. Bit more powerful specs than we expected, than we saw last year. We got some Intel Core M processors, but you're still seeing this kind of like more accessible specs is a nice way to put it. It is a Chromebook, so it's not a Windows machine, but Google's done a lot of work with Chrome OS to make it more of a desktop type operating system. They got this grippable texture on the back. That's what they're calling it. These keys are what they're calling hush keys, so you should be able to type without, alerting the whole room to your essay you're writing. A single USB-C port on both sides, so 2 total, and a headphone jack. And it comes in black and a not pink version, which is not in my hand currently, but there's one over there. Now this is an interesting setup because I came up to it and it was plugged into a display hub. It's got a USB-C cable running to a hub on the back, which is outputting to HDMI, which is powering this Samsung UHD screen, complete with some wireless peripherals. So they're kind of like making the case here that this could be, your full desktop machine instead of kind of, like a Chromebook. So I just talked to one of the Google reps, and he did say that the lowest processor available is like Intel Core M3, but there also is Core i5s and i7s available. So, that's gonna be a bit more expensive. 8 gigs of RAM at the base level, you can go up to 16 gigs. And the screen, 13.3-inch display, 1080p. It's very light, I didn't mention that. That's partially because of the magnesium frame. And despite it being so light, it's got apparently 12 hours of battery life altogether. So I like it. It's I could go with this. Pixelbook Go. Go to the store now and buy one. I don't think you can. You gotta pre-order it. Google has finally given an update on the Pixel Buds. We got the originals with the tethered version a while back, but now we have the fully wireless versions. Very exciting. They're gonna last for 5 hours battery life by themselves. With the case, 24 hours altogether. They've got beamforming mics combined with a voice accelerometer to detect jaw movements. So even when you're on the go, like on the bike or something in a loud environment, it should be able to hear you. On device controls, we got the tap to play and pause, double tap and triple tap for this next song and previous song. They also have swipeable volume controls, and you can talk to the Google Assistant while you're to control things that way. They said that the tip itself will do an excellent job of sealing in the base, but they don't want to give you that sealed-in feeling, so they have a spatial vent on the bottom that lets in a bit of ambient sound so you don't feel like you're underwater. They also said that the volume would dynamically adjust to the environment, so you don't need to constantly volume up, volume down if things are changing. That sounds pretty interesting. And they say the Google Assistant is going to be faster than ever because there is some dedicated machine learning hardware on this for voice recognition, so you can do that on device instead of sending it to the cloud every time. It also features long-range Bluetooth, so you will be able to use these buds as many as 3 rooms away from your phone indoors, and as long as a football field away outdoors, if it works properly, when it launches in 2020 for $179. So that's pretty exciting. I did done some wireless Bluetooth earbuds reviews recently, and these seem like a pretty exciting pair. $179 is a little steep for my taste, but it seems like they might be, if they deliver on the promises, they might be one of the better ones. So we'll have to see later. So I'm here with the Google Home Mini. Just kidding, Google Nest Mini. It's the next generation of the device, but it's essentially the exact same design. They said that people loved the Home Mini size and the form factor, so why change it, you know? Except this version, they say, is now made, the fabric on top is made of 100% recycled plastic bottles, which is more environmentally friendly while still sounding good. I've never tried to play music through a plastic bottle, but there's a first time for everything. The main difference here is a wall mount, a third microphone to hear you, the better to hear you, my dear, and on-device hardware for voice recognition. So saying things like, hey, Google, turn on the light, should happen like, bam. It's gonna launch for $49, similar price to the original Home Mini. Now the other thing they're doing with kind of home hardware is the new Nest Wi-Fi router and point system. So the Nest Wi-Fi router is a router. You can use that as part of a mesh Wi-Fi system with the other point devices. Now this is interesting because the point devices have the Google Assistant baked in. So they're essentially like little Nest Minis. So you can get a router and then kind of dot these Nest Wi-Fi points around your house and get Wi-Fi coverage and the Google Assistant following you everywhere you go, so it can know everything about you. And those are launching, I think, $269 for a 2-pack of a router and a point, but you can also buy them individually. That's pretty interesting. I want to get my hands on that. Those Nest Wi-Fi devices also have something called Nest Aware, which will allow you to configure security for your network, and you can even do things like prioritize traffic for some devices over others. You can, turn the kids' Wi-Fi off by just telling Google to do that. I don't know if you should be giving Google power over your children, but that's a discussion for another day. And overall, seems like pretty interesting moves taken by Google on the Nest front. Well, I think that's what they call a Google. We got the Pixel 4, Pixelbook Go, Nest Mini, Nest Wi-Fi routers and points, some interesting new products. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. And Mark and I are gonna get out of here. We gotta fly home. We gotta edit this and then fly home. Are you excited? Yeah. Editing at the airport. Love it. All right, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you tomorrow because, well, I don't know what day this is gonna come out on. Hopefully Tuesday. If it's Wednesday, love you. If it's Tuesday, see you tomorrow. And happy Google. I gotta get the bags. Mark, there you go. Yeah, let's go. Jeez.